Hey, this is Evan Housley with Olympus Equipment. I wanted to give you guys a quick look at a new GapVax MC1510 that we have in for a customer of ours. This unit does have quite a bit of upgrades compared to our standard machine. Customer had a couple particular jobs and things that they do on a frequent basis that they needed to upgrade quite a bit on a truck to get that extra power and lift and things like that. So I'm going to kind of walk around, show you guys all the cool things that GapVax was able to do for these customers here. Really a great unit. I'm excited to show you guys what it can do and what all the neat little things are that we did for these guys. All right, well, the first thing we did on this machine for these guys is we upgraded their blower to a 27-inch blower. It's a Ingersoll Rand 27-inch lift. Really, it's not a common thing you'd see on a combo truck, more on the HV, hydrovac market, industrial vac. These guys needed the extra power. They needed that extra, lift on some particular jobs, and they just wanted to make sure their blower could handle anything that gets thrown at it. So kind of neat how Gap does this here. Typically you would see an exhaust on one side and the kunkel valves on the other. When you go up to the 27-inch blower machine with the GapVax, you're going to see a exhaust and then also the fresh air inlet. So there's no kunkel valves on this machine. You fully submerge that blower. That blower is always going to be pulling in fresh air. There's no real risk of overheating it. It does have a blower temperature sensor on there, so if it does get hot, it will let the operators know and open up the vacuum brake so we can introduce fresh air. Automatically it will do that. That way we protect the most expensive part of this truck. Walking around this rear end, this is a 1510, so we've got 1,500 gallons of fresh water on this machine, 10-yard debris tank. These guys are able to tie the debris tank to the water tank in case they need that additional water for large trunk line jetting projects, stuff like that. For us to do that, we upgraded the debris tank on this machine to stainless steel. So the whole back end body here, you see, that's all 1/4-inch stainless steel, a little bit thicker than our standard, which would be 316. This thing's gonna last as long as the customer keeps it. We also put this secondary hydro-excavation package on here. This is really gonna allow those guys to, when they're digging, not have to run their main rotor pump, which is 80 gallon a minute. They'll be able to run this secondary pump, not overheat that other one, and preserve their main jetter pump, and then get that precise pressure and water gallons per minute on this machine. So 2 separate guns. One's going to be your low pressure wash down off your main rotor pump. That secondary one here in this HX kit, that's going to be primarily and only for the hydro excavation kit. Here on the tube trays, you can see you got one of these galvanized tube trays on each side. This is going to allow you to hold easily 20 feet. You can go up to 30 feet if you put a third stack here on top. Bungee that down so you can get easily 20 up to 30 on each side. So you can carry up to 60 feet of aluminum tube if need be on any GapVax machine. So that's a standard option that comes on the GapVax machines. One thing we did here is you can see this hose reel that we have on this machine. Fully articulates 180 degrees across the crescent of the front of the truck. With the GapVax design, you do not need an outrigger leg. really stout, heavy duty front end on this truck, so no reason to have an outrigger leg. With that as well, these guys, they wanted to set up over a manhole from in the truck. So kind of a neat feature GapVax does. We've done it for a handful of customers here in the Utah region. You can open up your hose reel in the cab, so that'll allow them to. They got a front camera here on the front end. They can pull up to a manhole, storm drain, whatever they're working on for the day. With that front camera, it'll look right at where they're wanting to go. You can open up the hose reel from in the cab. That way you're not having to get out into traffic and set up for the job. You can do that from the safety of the cab. The front hose reel, we do things a little bit different at GapVax. We use a hydraulic winch gear or a winch motor to spool in and spool out the hose as you're doing your jetting operations. There's no chain and sprocket on this machine, so over time you're not going to have to adjust that chain and sprocket. Really helps kind of longevity of things here up on the front end. We got a low water alarm up here on the front end. Here's the front controls. If they run low onto the water, this is going to give them an audible alarm. And then also if they get a high material, into the debris tank, that way they don't overfill everything, they'll also get an audible alarm. Kind of a neat thing that GapVax does for these guys. Over here on the driver's side of the machine, this is where you're going to have your cyclone and final filter before you go into the blower. GapVax standard, you're going to get this stainless steel mesh filter. Really nice feature with these machines on any MC machine from GapVax. If for some reason you need to do an inspection on your blower, you want to see how the lobes are wearing over time, make sure everything's looking good. Once you open this door, take off a front panel here, which I've already done for the video. You pull this out, check your screen daily. You can actually look and visibly get a direct look into that blower. Make sure everything's looking good. Make sure you're not getting the carryover that can potentially happen. Just keep that blower running. That's going to keep the longevity of your truck going. Standard features: we give you this hydraulic manifold bank. This is nice. You always have a manual backup. If for some reason you're out on a job, you lose power to the front end of the truck or to your remote control, wireless remote, you can always operate your truck right here on the side of the truck. You can throw off some new operators, because while you're running the truck, if they're walking around and somebody's up moving the boom, doing something like that, these will be flexing. So it can kind of throw some folks off, but nice thing is, something ever happens out in the field, you're in a high traffic situation, you've got to get the truck back to road mode, get out of the way. You can always run that right here. Always gives you a manual operation to get you safe back home, unloaded, get it to your mechanic, get it to fleet department if they ever need to take a look at it. Really a nice little thing. Water pump's going to be down here on the driver's side. Get that right angle for you guys. We run the Giant series. This is an 80 gallon a minute, 2,500 PSI pump. Great pump on the market, plunger style, triplex pump. Just a fantastic machine. This one also has a water pressure sensor on the pressure side, as well as a water temperature gauge. That way, if not so much on this machine, but some of the other folks, they will hydro-excavate with that larger pump. You recirculate a ton of water on those jobs, so you're sending a lot of water back to tank, and just through the friction in the hoses, you build a lot of heat. Heat's going to potentially, damage the packings on these triplex style pumps. So we put a temperature sensor on this machine, keep you safe, not let any potential damage happen on there. Again, galvanized tube tray over here on the other side. The rear door locks on these machines, they're going to be different than what you see out on the other side, or out on the market. These are all fully field adjustable. If you're out on the job, potentially get a leak on the door, just back off your jam nut, tighten up the nut, back on the job, no issues. They're over center cam locks, so when you hear them snap shut, door's not going anywhere. You know you're secured, down the road you can go. This particular machine also has a pump off system. This is a 450 gallon a minute pump off. Keep up with the blower if you're out on a job. Discharge your water as quick as you can pull it up into the tank. We also put a nice little ladder over on this side. That way if you do need to get up and inspect anything up on the top of the truck, you can. You know, there's also a clean out if you get any rocks stuck in your boom. Any material up there starts getting caked up, you know, that dirt moving at high speeds can eventually start getting clogged up. Nice thing I like here in the Rocky Mountains, we get cold. You got to shut down your truck for a night. Say you take it to a service facility and they're not going to be bringing it indoors. We've got low drains on everything. Drain all that water off, let gravity do the job. And then it's got an air purge system. You can open up your valves, go through the system, use the air brakes, blow out all the water on these trucks. You know, make sure you don't freeze anything up. That's, you know, potential damage you could do to the trucks. One thing I like to point out on these trucks, you know, we work on all different brands, all makes and models at Olympus Equipment. And the GapVax machine, they got a philosophy, you know, if you're gonna do it right, do it bigger, and you know, make these trucks so they last. Our primary market is contractors. Contractors get paid to be on the job. They get paid to, you know, they don't get paid for downtime. So as little bit of downtime we can afford these customers, it goes a long way. So they like to upgrade a lot of stuff. And a lot of this is standard. Like right here on the front end, everybody's got a hose reel on their trucks. We like to go oversized on this front rotary union. Most of the other brands that are out there, the V brands, I like to call them, you know, they go with this very common, everybody's using them, they're tried, they're true, but they wear out. They sell resealing kits. You know, you can throw some new bearings in there, put your Chevron packing in there, re-grease them up, you know, then it might last you another couple months. But usually some of my customers, I've got some customers that replace these every 6 months, you know, every year. So this big one that we put on here from GapVax, here at Olympus Equipment, we'll give you a 3-year warranty on this. If for some reason you wear it out in 3 years, give me a call. We'll put a brand new one on the truck. It's just an overbuilt machine. All right, so up here at the front end, you know, your daily controls, where most of these operators are gonna, you know, end up spending most of their days. This hose reel we already got articulated out here on the front end. Brought it out to, you know, where most of the time you're typically going to be operating. This one does have a automatic level wind guide, so nice thing, you know, when you're out jetting, this is going to keep your spools nice and clean. We do give you this, you know, override nut here, large, oversized. If you got, you know, your plastic gloves, that way you can still feel anything. We give you this large nut to grab onto. You can readjust the hose guide if need be. Also, if you're shooting easements, you know, sometimes we got to do it. It's not our favorite thing that we got to do, but with this level wind guide, it's really nice. Pull the pin, and you can actually set this up so you can pull that hose coming off the top of the reel and still use your level wind guide. That way you can still keep that nice clean wrap on the truck. So here on the inside controls, you've got your monitor. This is going to show you just a quick overview of everything you got going on the truck. So it's going to give you your water level. You see that there in the red, yellow, and green. Once that goes up, it's going to monitor as it comes down. On the right side of that, it's going to let you know what your gallons per minute, the water temperature or the water pump temperature, and how many hours you end up having on the water pump. Below that, you've got your airflow for the blower, how many inches of mercury, and your blower temperature. Then below that, your hose, you know, how many feet you got. This one's got 800 feet of 1-inch hose on there. So it's going to tell you how many feet per minute you're shooting out, and also how many feet you can set it up to be you know, your run as you're going out, and then you can also accumulate for that one run. So if you're doing a large trunk line, you're doing your step cleaning, especially for your contractors, you know, you're shooting out 5 to 10 feet per shot, bringing back the material, then you're going out 15 to 20, bringing out that material. It's going to let you know how many times you've shot out and what's your overall, you know, then it'll take your longest shot on that job. So you know that your full length, say you cleaned 400 feet, but you actually had to shoot 1,200 feet to get that 400 feet cleaned. You can program that here on the system to let the operator know, you know, how much they actually use. Down below, you got your engine RPMs, hydraulic pressures, hydraulic temperature, all the things that, you know, you're going to need to see on a day-to-day basis. There you get your multi-flow, you know, dial in your flows. You know, if you're doing 8-inch pipe, you're not going to need that full 80 gallon a minute unless you want it. Get into those larger diameter pipes, crank it up to 80 gallon a minute. Boom flight here, emergency kill switch, and then all the other controls that you would need. Once you're out here and you're jetting, you can keep that door open or closed if you like, but it's simple. Hose reel on off here on the valve, and hose reel in and out. Just go to work. So very simple truck to operate. Very simple truck to, you know, keep in service, keep it running. Large oversized boom. This is our standard boom. It's a 8-inch with a 9-foot boom extension. We use 2 lift cylinders for going up with a worm gear to drive it around 180 degrees. With those 2 lift cylinders that we run on this machine, fully extended, you know, this boom's rated to lift 1,000 pounds. So not typical with, like I said, I like to use the term the V brands. GapVax likes to oversize this thing, you know, keep it working, keep it out on the job. All right, so there you have it. Quick little overview. There's a lot more to talk about on these trucks, but I don't want to keep you here all day. I appreciate you guys taking a look at this beautiful GapVax MC1510, proudly built Johnstown, Pennsylvania. We're right here in North Salt Lake, Utah. Very proud to support these guys and, you know, keep bringing them out here to the Rocky Mountain area. Great product. If you guys have any questions, comments, please hit us up. Give us a call here at Olympus Equipment. Call GapVax back in Pennsylvania or their Texas office. We're more than happy to answer any questions. You know, if there's any potential that you guys want to see one in person, see if you can schedule a demonstration with us or any of the GapVax dealers. There's a number of us throughout the United States. Just get online, check out the dealer portal, see where we're all at. Probably one somewhat close to you guys, and we're all more than happy to bring out a truck, whether it's a combo truck like you see here, our industrial hydrovacs, you name it. GapVax is gonna be there to support and hopefully do some business with everybody. So here at Olympus Equipment, we appreciate it. Thank you again for checking out our video. Hit us up. Appreciate it. Bye.